Let's get right to Fox News' Randy Wimbley. He joins us live with more on why this rejection cut so deep. Randy, what happened?
Well, guys, I'll tell you what, one of the things that makes this so difficult is that he's doing the work and doing his part to help make Detroit a bit safer. But one of the things that makes him so effective and gives him credibility here on the city's west side makes him persona non grata at the White House.
We're not going to be the type of people who you sit up and take pictures with and you say, you doing this and you doing that, and we sit back like we something shameful that you sneak in through the back door or the side door.
That's how Dujuan Kennedy sums up his near trip to the White House this summer. The Biden administration invited Kennedy and others from Force Detroit to its Community Violence Intervention Summit, celebrating the passage of the Safer Communities Act. But when they arrived, Kennedy and a few others from nonprofits across the country were turned away at a security checkpoint.
It was like 4 to 5 guys to the side. We started trying to figure out what was the common denominator. We all had been to prison, and we all had violent felonies on our record. And
Kennedy spent nearly 15 years in prison for manslaughter. He turned his life around while behind bars, and after his release in 2019, began working with nonprofits like Force Detroit and other community violence interventionists, reaching out to at-risk youth and de-escalating beefs before they boil over to bloodshed. Would it be safe to say that the work that you've been doing has saved lives and kept young men from doing things that have been reckless that could have gotten them incarcerated?
Yeah, for sure. What we done did, they impacted people and saved people's lives, yeah.
Federal funding for organizations like Force Detroit is a crucial element of Biden's Safer Communities Act. Many doing the work of community violence intervention labor day in and day out for little to no pay. Returning citizens like Kennedy are often recruited or volunteer to help change lives, something he mentioned in a letter to President Biden after he was turned away from the summit. We were denied entrance because we have criminal records, yet it is that very experience that informs our crucial work in the community that you were there to celebrate. The vast number of people across the country leading this charge and risking their lives and their families' lives need federal pardons now. We need health care and we need a livable wage like we offer at Force Detroit.
If you got individuals out here doing work to save people's lives and they took someone's life, if the family is okay with it, why can't they be fully redeemed? Why can't they be pardoned?
A spokesperson for the Secret Service said Kennedy and the others did not meet federal security entrance requirements mandated by the Secret Service. This was not a decision by White House staff. This was exclusively a decision by the U.S. Secret Service. Even so, Kennedy says he and others working in neighborhoods to prevent violence don't do it for the government's validation. Their praise comes from the people they've been serving long before many took note.
We doing the work. You're not going to get credit for the work that we doing on the ground, and you ashamed to stand next, or you don't feel safe standing next to us.
Now, there's been some talk about getting Kennedy back to Washington to receive some form of an apology, but he says that's not something that he is particularly interested in, saying that mea culpas don't lead to meaningful progress. Systemic change, however, does. If you're interested in the work that Force Detroit is doing throughout the city, you can head to our website, fox2detroit.com, for more information. Reporting live on Joy Road on the city's west side, I'm Randy Wimbley, and this is The Edge.
Yeah, Randy, from a logistics point of view, this just doesn't make sense. If you're going to go visit the White House, you're going to show up and meet with the president, meet with anybody, there's going to be paperwork that they do in advance of your trip before you even fly out there. Why wasn't that done, and why didn't they catch this beforehand?
Well, yeah, it was an invitation to Force Detroit, and being that he is a member and employee of that organization, that nonprofit, he was one of the main people who was going to go out there along with a few others. And so when they got there, they went through the checkpoints at the White House, and it came up that he has a record, and it was pretty much a done deal at that point. But again, as you mentioned, when they're reaching out to these different organizations, perhaps there should be some more digging done on the White House's part to make sure that something like this does not happen if they're being invited out to celebrate the work that they're doing in neighborhoods just like this one.